Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Ivan, Brian, channel members, Joseph, Donald, Rob, Ed, Aki, Joy, General Rush, Darren, Craig, Gary, Don, Dan, David. Welcome everybody. Ted, Sergio, Ivan, and welcome. So we had some earnings come out last night, come out this morning. We've got PLTR on a pullback. This is quite bullish, actually. We might possibly see a dip all the way down here or a rally on higher. This is probably a bullish chart, big picture. Probably a really bullish chart, big picture. Now, this is absolutely insane, ridiculous numbers and stuff like that, but probably an insanely bullish chart. You know, the price to sales and stuff, absolute stupidity here. I mean, whew. Price to earnings 657, and price to sales 109. That's ripe for giant pullback, even if they had rocket numbers. So be careful. And seeing it come in just in line, big pullback. I mean, big pullback's all relative, right? I mean, there's like 10% or so, 8%. So anyway, moving on. Celsius reporting earnings this morning, kind of coming in. I mean, reporting 15, expecting 19. It's coming in a little light, holding in there. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, they've had a miss, and a miss. So, I mean, it's not really a big surprise that it was a miss. Probably going to retrace back down in here. Maybe to the 4 hour. Hold in there. Could always go for the deeper 618 retrace, but I don't know. Let's see. What else we got? Earnings was. I'll start out here before I talk about the short gamma regime. Coming up, we had Datadog, Ford, Hims. Let's hit a few more of these. I don't have them memorized, so what had earnings? I mean, earnings is hard to memorize. Hims taking a little step back. Ford, expected bearish reaction there. Oh, yeah, nothing surprising me so far. EVER, ever quote. Just a pause before the next move up, probably. Viper, a little pop there. Quartz coming back to the roadmap line after that pop. And DDOG this morning, probably got resistance at the roadmap line. Race, grinding on up into the. Let's just remove this stuff. Oops, dang, that was not what I wanted to do. That high, that low. Now we're sitting here right. We've got that gap we got to beat right there. So grinding into the gap. If we can get through that, we go on up to 529 on Ferrari. Digital Ocean and bearish. Marriott. Nothing real clear here. Just kind of a bit of chop. That could be a first move down and we get a 618 retrace. So watch for resistance here. If we could beat it, we could go on up. If we turn down there, we're going to do another leg down, probably as big as this leg right here. Something like that. This is important. We'll come back to this in a minute on the actual market. Let's see, CEG. Yeah, nice. So coming up, let's see, ADM. Yeah, that's bearish. And then after the close today, SMCI. Now remember, after the close today, 5 p.m., I have 30 minutes of awesome. It's the only time of the week where I do request show. You can come hang out. We can check out some of these, like SMCI. I'm kind of bearish on it. AMD. Not sure what I am on this one yet. Still bearish trend. If we could bust through the resistance here, big upside potential. Big upside potential. Could be like a 5x upside potential. I'm just not sure we're done on the downside yet. This could get one more retrace with the market. Rivian. That's watermelon seed squeeze. Be careful there. Tempest AI. No clear pattern. AT. Looks like we might head lower. ANET is prime for popping on up through the resistance here. Could see a little pullback before we launch on off. ALAB does have a resistance here. Could pop on through easily enough. Upstart. Yeah, resistance at the roadmap line. Win. Resistance at the roadmap line. Then tomorrow morning we have Uber. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning. Uber. That's hitting the target, so be careful there. We could extend or we could pull back. Disney. I kind of expect this to go on down potentially. NVO. That might have bottomed, but it could pull back from that move up off the lows there. Tiva. The market may pull a lot of these back down too. This one looks like it needs a retrace potentially. Unity. That's kind of chopping. Unclear. Vistra. And that's coming up into resistance. Gold. Barrick Mining. I could, this could bounce here. We do have that gap down. That could bounce on up to 21, but it also could bounce down and be down in 16, 15 area. Up. The resistance is up, so flex looks like that might actually pop. I'm not playing any of these because I have low confidence. 48. Oscar. Resistance all the way up here. And BG. And that's a downtrend. All right. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out now. The good news, we've been beaten mostly on earnings. The beats have been coming in basically not really any worse than what we've been doing, what we did in Q4 24 with Q1 25. We are getting a few more misses at the expense of inlines. So less stuff coming in line. The ones that were expected to come in line were missing, and the beats are just kind of hanging in there. So we're seeing almost 75% of companies beat. Not bad. Very few coming in line, like 2% or something like that. Yeah. And we're actually beating a little more than the average. So not bad there. Now, look at this. This is the gamma chart on the S&P or SPY right here. There's a large chunk of puts that have been bought, and these are all bought. This is not sold puts on the S&P. These are all bought. People were buying like crazy all the way up, which was creating a short gamma regime. And when we're in short gamma, what that means is the market makers were having to sell the puts to the buyers. And to hedge their bets, when they sell the puts to the buyers of puts, at the same time, they have to buy the S&P or buy the SPY to cover those bets. so that they can stay delta, what they call delta neutral. Now, how do you do that as a regular trader? This is market makers play by different rules than us normal mortals in the stock market. So right here, this represents a big kind of risk in the market if things start turning sour, if the market makers get to be, full up on delta. If we start dropping, they could start selling. This is what negative gamma kind of does for us. It could exasperate the situation to the downside. They can sell off their their exposure as we go lower. They've got to go short the market because they got to go in the direction of that the market goes. That's in a short regime. The market makers trade with the market, and with this large negative gamma hanging out here, it's kind of what we have now. As they say, dealers short 570 puts and lower. It's not far below us. And dealers long. So there's been a lot of upside calls sold by the end users, people like us, So people are buying puts and selling calls. That's representing some fear in the market. And that puts the market makers in a short regime where they've got to buy when we go up and sell when we go down. And when it flips into long gamma, the opposite happens. The market makers are selling against the market going higher and buying against the market going lower, and it provides a calming effect on the market. In the short gamma regime, it exasperates the moves, and that's why we've seen lots of large moves lately. It's mostly on the back of the market makers trying to keep their positions delta neutral, and it gets really complicated really fast. So looking at that on the S&P charts, yesterday we broke the green streak with a little red day. Broke it at 9 days up and red day, and then looks like we're getting more of a red day. And when I talked about it was a time for caution, it's right here. And maybe we should jump over to a clean chart really quickly so we could draw this up. You can see what I mean. So right here, we had an initial move down. Right here, we had a retrace right here. That high, this low, stopped right in the danger zone on this small time frame right there. The measured bounce setup. We're pushing lower. If we push down to this level right here, it sets the odds that this is the high we're getting right now here in the danger zone. So if we push down to this level, basically below 5,600, if we get down below that 5,600 area, 55.95 on ES, sets it up that this is the high right now, and we're going to do a deeper retrace. Now there's still a little bit of potential that this hasn't quite run its course, and we may pop one more time. As long as we stay above 56, we still keep the odds that we may come on up to the top of the box just a little bit higher. That cash value, we came up just a little shy of that 57.20 cash value I was talking about. So 5,800 on the cash is still potentially the top. So the ideal kind of target was 57.20 here. We may come back and bounce up one more time. We're right down at the roadmap line here on the 15-minute. Cash just opened. Why do I look at the futures instead of the cash? Because there's missing data, right? Like this didn't trade all night, whereas the futures did. Gave me more of a clear picture where we were. So that's one of those things, I guess you might say, about the market. So I like to look at the futures. Just give me a clear picture. There's no missing data. Now, looking at our trusty, handy, dandy roadmap lines. It's going to take a second to load. Everybody's freaking out this morning. Oh my gosh. Below the 30 minutes, below the 15 minutes, coming down to the hour. So this is the one to watch right here. Just happens to match our levels, 55.95. If we start getting below that, odds are we're going on a deeper adventure here. Little baby, moving the wrong thing. Little baby 1, 2. This would be, if we get down to that 55.95 area, that's a 3. We'll probably do a 4 and a 5 down, and then a 3-wave retrace, and then we'll see what we get off of that. Right there. That'll be the first move down. And if we actually complete it as 5 down to those bigger levels I've been talking about. So this could be the start of the big correction I've been talking about. All right, that big correction that takes us back down here on the first move. So this could be a little baby 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And then we see, do we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to finish it up? And that's a whole 3-wave move. Or do we get a 3, a 4, and a 5, and then a bigger 3, at which point we're in trouble. All right. If we do this, we're in trouble. If we do this and then start taking off, it's all clear. Very fine point. We're going to thread the needle here. So this could be it. It's funny enough, I drew that danger zone right in the money, right there. So key pivotal thing right here. We have the FOMC meeting tomorrow. Very important. Very important potential catalyst. It's not important what they say. It's just an important potential catalyst. Like, is this going to freak out the market? Do they say, I don't think we're going to do rate cuts. And then because the market's kind of counting on rate cuts, the market all flushes out and we sell gold, we sell Bitcoin, we sell the market, we sell everything because we thought we were going to get lower rates and we're not. And could be a sell everything type event if they go a little more hawkish, they say, on the rates. Look at the actual market rates here. Yeah. Quarter point cut wouldn't be out of the, dip right back down in here. The market rate actually hovering down in here. Now, here's the thing though. They may just hold it because you do the fib line. This has a measured bounce potential setup to go ripping up here. That'd be a wild ride right there. For years, I've been expecting it to go on up, so it's not all that crazy for me. This market rate could shoot right up here, back to 5. I think they may, being as cautious as they're trying to be, they may hold rates steady because of that potential to pop right there. And we retrace a little bit, and then we go on up. It'd be a wild ride. Interest rates move just like everything else that has price. So, it'll be an interesting shakeout here. It's just my theory. They may come on us more hawkish tomorrow and create a sell-off. They may say something I have no idea and create a sell-off. I don't think they plan on changing rates, so there you go. That's what I expect. All right, how do we make money today? That's a good question. NASDAQ, same situation as ES. Working on that initial move down. Right now we have three components in the current pullback. Call it waves, components, moves, whatever you want to call it, however you want to refer to it. I, use Elliott wave theory as kind of my basis for how the market moves. So that's the first move down, first wave, second move, And that's the third move right there. And we're just kind of sitting here waiting. If this pushes on down to the 1618, usually that's indicative that we're going to get some sort of continuation. Probably see a move like that. We want to hold below here. And then we'll get the final move potentially down to here. And that'll be it for this move. And then we'll go up a little bit before we go down bigger. Now, if we wrap this up today, we'll probably get a little pop on FOMC and then a flush out. Potentially. Or we could just keep flushing. Like, that's possible too. A little pop could be something like this tomorrow morning, and then we get the FOMC and flush outs bigger. Probably gonna head on down to that support level down here. 51 to 52, possibly as low as 5,000. It's probably the next target zone down here in the coming days. Any questions, you can let me know. Right there. Moving on down, Russell, probably going to get a retrace, maybe a 618. We'll see. You could almost bet on that one going down. And IWM would be a way to play. If you wanted to. Probably going back to 182 area right in here. Probably coming back down there. By like a 192, 187, 192.50, 187.50, or 192, 187, something like that. Make the $5 spread right there. I'd probably go out to June if I was going to do that. CL. Coming back off the lows. Switch back to the daily charts. Interesting. So we're back to the resistance very quickly. Took a 1 day dip and right back up here. As long as we hold this, if we break back above, let's just clean this up a little bit. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. We've got this high, we've got this low right there. So the indicator is a move back up through 61.15. If we do that, highly likely to come right back up to the roadmap line right there. And then we'll do and this won't go straight. It'll do likely some sort of move like that. If we do a 3-wave or 5-wave, 5-wave would be more conducive to going higher. This very loosely had a 5-wave in it, but that had a potential 5-wave in it too. So this is not the cleanest, clearest chart at the moment. As far as bottoming here, we could still flush out one more time. GC pushing on up. We're getting that retrace right at the, this is a time to be very, very cautious here. Right at the 618 retrace. This can be the B wave. That'd be an A, B, and we can come right down here on the next move. Be very, very careful here. This is not an all clear on gold. And there's potential it could break out, but that is also exactly the spot where I would want to see it turn down. We got there in 3 days, so very, very, very careful here. It's not a 5-wave structure at all for continuation higher. Be very careful. Be careful. That I may buy some more GLL. Ultra short gold. Might buy this again. And got the low, we got the high, came down here a little deeper than I want to see, but this may rock and roll back higher again. Bitcoin pulling back, probably gonna retrace back to the roadmap line on the daily. Probably gonna do it. Probably coming back down here. If we hold that, we can go higher. If we fold it, we'll probably come on down here once again. Ethereum has a high chance to go down and make a lower low. Slash this baby in half at, yeah, we could see a 50% haircut really quickly down to a new low. Even just a 46% haircut would take us down to a new low. Some sort of lower low than this low back here. And I know this is the futures chart, not the cash index or the spot market. So we could be talking about on the spot market, something like this, which would be about a 50% retrace. NKD, tapping in there, roadmap line. Yeah, look at all that. Look at all that stuff came together. The box, the roadmap line, the uptrend of lows, all came together right there. Probably going to get a retrace back down here. If we can hold it, we may be able to break through. But if we don't, this is going to get ugly. Very key moment in the market. Like everything's lining. It's like the perfect storm of junk lining up here. Dollar. That's not very bullish off the, we'll probably see this dip one more time before it can pop on up. Look at our Mag 7s, Apple, setting up for a potential retrace, maybe even a lower low. Be very careful. Amazon, just hanging in there. We haven't really hit resistance, and we're not retracing back down to support. So that may just go with the market. However we go, kind of overlapping up off these lows, so unclear on Amazon. Google looks like it wants to push up into the resistance box. Meta is in that resistance area. If we can clear that 618, we can go on higher. Microsoft, struggling here at those prior highs. We can push on, this may need a retrace before we can push on through. Is what that's basically telling me right there. The nature of that move up right there with the proportions suggests that we're trying to be bullish. Got up right near the 1618. May retrace it back to the roadmap line before we can push on up. That. Trying to be bullish on Microsoft. Nvidia in the ambiguous zone, the unsure zone, the zombie land. Be careful, it can pull back out of there. Tesla still struggling to try to break through that roadmap line. Strong resistance. Like I said, if the market takes the bigger pullback, we may see this come back down here. Back in the zone. I didn't sell anything yet. Just been unsure about what's happening next. I did kind of slightly expect ES to go just a tad higher and take, and NQ go a tad higher and take this up with it, potentially above the roadmap line and then hold. But right now, it's kind of, this is a slightly higher probability than this right now with the potential FOMC and everything coming up tomorrow. All right, in the pre-market, I run a piece of software and pull all the gainers. That's things moving $2 more up, put it on the gainers list. And then decliners is stuff that was moving $2 or more down, and I put it on that decliners list. And then I also have 8 setups that fired off after the close yesterday. So ADP, of course, pulling back a little bit today. It did fire off. We would need a move on up through those highs. And to look at the numbers for this, 53 trades, 83, this meets all that criteria that I talk about for the, that I want to see on one of these. Like it's got a statistical population. It's got more than the, more win rate than the average and a profit factor over 2. This is a, if you wanted to put your money at risk, this is a good one. Now, it could be tied up in this for, 99% of the time. These are going to finish up in 200 days or more, or less, basically 220, I think it is. Could be tied up in here for a little while. The average is 45 trading days, which is getting close to 60 calendar days. So you need something out here if you're going to play options. But if you wanted to, and that could, one standard deviation on the average is 35. So 45 plus 35, that gets you 68% of the time. This trade will be wrapped up by 75, 80 trading days. That's a while, right? I mean, and that's only 68% of the time. So that still leaves you about 32% of the time you might run out of time. It comes way on out here too, right? Way on out here. But the target's 330. ALNY. This one's running good, but it's only 50% of the way to a statistical population. The next 15 trades could be all losers, and this get absolutely wrecked. But going with the historical average, that one's still likely to go on up to 316. CHKP. This one's running light. Last one stopped out. Not the best. HTHT. This one, 10 trades, 80% profitable. These numbers don't really mean much because the next 20 trades could be all losers and this just get wrecked. So be careful out there. This has been a sideways chop for a long time. That doesn't mean they won't work. As you can see, it worked out. And this one would work out and not have to break out of this sideways chop. Only looking for 40 on the upside. IBEX. Getting near the top of the wedge. It's going to require breaking out. I would skip that one. IBM. Firing off the entry. Target up here. 42 trades. 70. This is basically in line. Basically hanging right in line with the average. Little slightly light here on the win rate and slightly spicier here on the profit factor. So this one's just a good average stock, and 75%, 74% of the time we'd expect it to go on up to the target at 273.90. IDDC. I kicked off right there. 29 trades in the history, and it runs light, so this one may be a loser. I'm a loser, baby. It's got one trade to be statistically popular. One winner is not going to make this better than average right here, so be careful. This tends to chop a little bit more than trend. SPOK. And 18 on the upside. Yeah. There you go. That's the setups. Let's go look for stuff moving today. Opportunities we can potentially get involved in. Let's see. NBIX. Yeah. Any day that biotech dominates the list, you got to be careful out there. It's been the lesson I've learned. Look at that. Shot right up to the target. Right up past the target. Beautiful. I think we talked about that a few days back. RGC. GLD, watch out. That may retrace deeply. Ugly. Gonna go down with it. Nugget, JNug. Let's see. Lemonade. That needs to be back above 40 to indicate we're going on up to 60. American Eagle. Hey, thanks, Dave, for being a channel supporter. And for you premium supporters, yesterday I posted the the Robinhood account 50K challenge trades, all the open positions. You know, here's how we're doing so far on this 50K challenge. So far at 1.33. You know, the goal is 50K. This may take me a few years, like 5 years. 100% win rate so far. $100 per trade. Not bad. 85% average gain. Not bad to total. You can see I haven't closed any more trades since Friday. So clicking on the 1 year all time. This was a net negative account with like $500 loss in it. So I brought that back up to $800 profit on the lifetime of the account. Let's see. I think you can see it. Yeah, right there. There's the lifetime of the account. This goes all the way back 22, 21, 20. You know, I was playing with this back in COVID times. This was not one of the accounts I made tons of money in. I never put much money in it. Yeah, I was playing in meme coins and stuff. If you dig into the account history, you'll see Doge and stuff like that. So played a lot of meme stuff that was blasting off and Wall Street bets and all that. And yeah, this account just, I never really liked trading at Robinhood. And that's, I kind of left it for dead here. And as you can see, stayed at negative 530 for a long time and now ramping up. Yeah, Celsius put, I did take those shares and I have 100 shares of that. And you see that in the positions. Yeah. It doesn't show the short positions. Funny enough, I have short options. It does show the shares right there. We've got a couple shares of McDonald's, a couple shares here, all this other stuff. I did buy this one last year, maybe. Whenever that came live, whenever that went live, I bought some of it just to see on Ethereum. The rest of these I've all had since back in 2020. 2021. Had those all sitting in that account for a long time. So I just never loaded up and looked at it. I'm going to change. I'm going to, you know, if you're new here and you're like, what is this? Basically, the goal I set for myself is to turn this account into an account that can generate $50,000 a month right here. 50K per month. Come along for the ride. Let's see what happens. AEM and potential to retrace. Baba. Watch out here. If they announce a deal, if China and the US play let's make a deal, this could pop, but it also could crush. I'm betting on crush. DEO. Diego coming up into the resistance. Was this the bottom? Yeah, that was a big long-term bottom from COVID times. If we can, you know, if that retest was good enough, pop through the roadmap line, retest, and then take off for higher. We'll see. I wouldn't trade it right now. UVIX, I did warn about VIX potentially going to get a spike while the market pulls back. I'm looking for this thing to rock and roll up here. And we are holding an uptrend of lows. Maybe even some kind of, you know, curve situation here. Does that get spicier? Starting to be kind of parabolic here. Could see a spike on up. If things got nasty, we could see a spike on up here. That'd be kind of wild. That'd be like COVID highs. Be careful. VIX is saying something's up. PTIR. That's PLTR. Got whacked a little bit. You're wrong or right. You should go with your gut, man. Be careful. This can retrace back down to the roadmap line here. Do it on the 4 hour. Could do it on the daily. Now, I would expect this more to hold in the 4 hour zone here. Potentially down around 90. Duolingo. Yeah, that's targets. We talked about that one a couple weeks back. Boom. Boom goes the dynamite. That worked out. Dash. Fired off the entry, retracing. This may come back down to the roadmap line before we go on up to 220. Spot. Yeah, this kicked off back here. Target up here, 683. And let's see, we touched on CEG. CRWD, that has the potential to go up to 489. GE Veranova, potential to go on up to 486. CORT, back down to the roadmap line. See Carvana. They have earnings today. Tomorrow after the close. And this might pop the target. Like this, it's set up to do that, but it also could fail out. Not feeling strongly. I would bet like that's 75% likely. I mean, that's based on tens of thousands of trades. They won't finish it up 75% likely. That still leaves 25% that we bust on down though. You notice it didn't actually flag that entry right there. The algorithm didn't flag this, so be careful. And let's see, MSTR struggling to push through, of course. And if Bitcoin retraces, this will probably come back before we attempt to come on through. CLX, that's Clorox coming back down in a blaze of glory. Let's see what we got here. And we got a line in the sand down here around 126. If we get below that, we may come on down to 108, 105. AVGO. And we're ping-ponging here. We kind of hit this resistance. We may ping-pong back to the roadmap line before we can try to ping-pong on up through there. If we can clear that kind of resistance zone, I would love to see this going up to 274 on the upside. Restoration Hardware. Tap the targets. Got the potential to rally back up to the roadmap line. Now look at that, 2x on HIMS right there. The HIMS must be coming back. Yeah, rallying back up. Hitting the resistance there. There was a gap down here. That's resistance. If we can get through that today with a close, odds are we're going up here. And then the HIMS with a Z could pay out pretty nicely. That one kicked off for potential 117 up there. BST. And we still need to move above that 618. Let's see, coin. Probably going to retrace back down. FAS, just hovering at the roadmap line. We want to see that push on through. I'm not sure that. So this will be one of the tells. If financials hold up really well as we do what looks like an inevitable pullback here in the market, if these hold up really well, maybe don't pull back nearly as much as the broader market, that's indicating we're probably going up to all-time highs. Another tell in the market. You know, financials being like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. That's already firing off a potential upside right there. So if these hold up really well in the next pullback, maybe just barely pulling back, then probably going to all-time highs in the broader market. If these start really flushing out hard, probably setting up the bigger downside in the market. CRM still hanging out below the roadmap line, not bullish. MDB still hanging out near the lows. That's only a 3-wave move so far. Can easily extend lower on down to the 130 area. Snow has been pretty strong here. Actually want to see that break on out higher. Let's see, team. Potentially grinding lower. Eat, Brinker International. Can't get off the roadmap line. Rejected. Be careful. That can lead to a downside. If we start below that 120, we're probably coming on down to 90 on Brinker. Google, we already kind of touched on. FTNT. Upside potential. That's, you know, rock and roll. 119. AMAT. Potential the bottom's in place here. You know, potentially bottom in. Got resistance at 165. This may retrace with the market. Oracle. Resistance here. Shopify. Got to push on through. We do have earnings coming up on Thursday morning. I would like to see that push on through, get up to 141. I'm fairly bullish on Shopify. It looks like we potentially have 5 done, so this could retrace a little deeper down to 50 before we shoot on up. PANW kicked off the entry. Target 220 up there. XLY. Resistance. This may come down a little bit. Reddit. That looks like we're going to get an extension like that. Holding that like that. We're at least going to get a 618 retrace. If not, come on down. COHR. And cool. I love it when the whole fib moves and not just the point. We do have a major resistance, right? You know, major resistance going higher right here, where all that junk is together. Big bust through, we could see an upside, but if we reject off, we could go down lower pretty easily. All right, so that's the list and bias for the day. Let's go check it out. We kind of already talked about this pretty well in the beginning, what I'm looking for, and now here we are, trying to breach those levels. Right down here. Not too good. And we're almost. Yeah, we're going to kind of need the hold zone here. Keep an eye on this one. We start down, if we get down into here. Watch for the 3-wave bounce. And if we are here tomorrow in FOMC, oh baby, we're going on down. Right now, I think we have a downside set up on FOMC. So be careful tomorrow. Be careful today. Be careful. If you count your save, maybe your own. Remember, come back, see me at 5 o'clock today. Set a reminder in your phone. 5 p.m. I'll do requests, at least 30 minutes. Can't do it without you. I mean, what good's a request show if nobody shows up to request? So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notifications. Come see me. And have a great day.